Together, they must mesh smoothly. There is little room for error. Apollo is like this, and the men who fly and the men who build know it. There were 4 Apollo flights in 1968, 2 unmanned, 2 manned, all part of the preparation for moon landings. Apollo 5 sent aloft to check out the lunar module. It is in a lunar module that 2 astronauts will land and take off from the moon. Both the descent engine, used to slow the spacecraft for the landing, and the ascent engine, which will boost the pair off the moon, were successfully tested. To further ready the Saturn V rocket and its many components, the unmanned Apollo 6 was launched into Earth orbit. Engineering cameras on board recorded the first stage and interstage separations. After 10 hours in space, the command module was rammed back into the Earth's atmosphere, simulating a lunar return. Another milestone in preparing for moon missions.
I guess the AI music is just gonna start, you know.
The next step,
I don't even have that tab open, but you know, it's good to hear it.
Here, astronauts Schirra, Cunningham, and Isley move about weightlessly in their Apollo 7 spacecraft. This was also the first full dress rehearsal for the Manned Spaceflight Tracking Network. 14 ground stations located in such places as Bermuda, Australia,
Bahamas,
Spain, and Hawaii, together with planes and tracking ships, kept a constant electronic ear tuned to the Apollo spacecraft. After 10 days and 163 revolutions, Apollo 7 splashed down in the Pacific, paving the way for the first half-million-mile journey to the moon and back.
Dude, this video's... I was watching this video in the house because Bree had the stream going. This video rules, dude. NASA was cooking, man. You know, it's appropriate that we played this. Look at all the stuff. Look at all this cool stuff. This is from 1968.
From Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center, the Saturn V rocket boosted Apollo 8 astronauts, Borman, Lovell, and Anders, toward their rendezvous with the moon. The first time the big rocket was flown with men as passengers. While en route, the crew kept busy, checking and double-checking all systems as they sped toward the moon. Many of the things they did will have a direct bearing on future lunar missions.
Good.
Nearly 3 days and 230,000 miles later, the crew of Apollo 8 fired their rocket engine, placing them in lunar orbit. Here are some of the views recorded by the crew as they orbited the moon 10 times. Views from afar and close up, showing remarkable detail. The kind of detail needed before men land there. Then the cameras and spacecraft were turned toward Earth. And after 3 days and a fiery re-entry, landed in the Pacific within sight of the recovery ship. Apollo 8, final flight of the year, historic prelude to lunar landings and to the peaceful exploration.
How did they do the LEM test on Apollo 5 without people on it? Remote control, dude. It's got an AGC and an antenna on it. You can fire it remotely. We know because that's what they did. Yeah. They hot fired it. They hot staged the LEM on Apollo 5 in low Earth orbit to make sure that the separation in the ascent module could work correctly.
Exploration of space in the future.
This has been an Aeronautics and Space Report presented by NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Sweet. Did you see some of the stuff from that thing? From that freaking video? The plane stuff, though. Look at, like...
And found that by cutting grooves in airport runways, planes landing on rain-soaked surfaces can land with less chance of skidding and stop easier. These studies were continued in
A freaking XK-120. All right.
1968. Some of the braking tests were made with specially instrumented cars on the grooved runways. The results now appear to have application
Freaking Dodge truck.
to highways as well as airport landing strips.
How did NASA test the CSM heat shield on re-entry from the moon before they put astronauts on it? Apollo 7 and Apollo 9. Well, Apollo 7 mostly. I do believe they talk about it in here. Hold on. Oh, Edmana, you asked for it. Oh.
The giant XB-70, flying at 3 times the speed of sound, made 13 research flights, gathering data for use in the development of large supersonic aircraft.
Look at that Hawker Siddeley.
NASA also conducted extensive flight studies on several types of vertical takeoff and landing planes. VTOL, as they are called, are craft that can rise vertically, then fly forward like any other airplane. VTOLs may one
Naps, they fired the service module to accelerate the re-entry in one of the unmanned tests. Yeah. Yeah, they mentioned it. It's over here somewhere. Here, let's go.
In most cases, the astronauts who fly the spacecraft train separately, but concurrent with the build-up and development of the space machines themselves. When brought together, they must mesh smoothly. There is little room for error. Apollo is like this, and the men who fly and the men who build know it. There were 4 Apollo flights in 1968, 2 unmanned, 2
Is that
manned,
bongo?
all part of the preparation for moon landings. Apollo 5 sent aloft to check out the lunar module. It is in a lunar module that 2 astronauts will land and take off from the moon. Both the descent engine, used to slow the spacecraft for the landing,
Fluffy.
and the ascent engine,
amazing.
which will boost the pair off the moon, were successfully tested. To further ready the Saturn V rocket and its many components, the unmanned Apollo 6 was launched into Earth orbit. Engineering cameras on board recorded the first stage and interstage separations. After 10 hours in space, the command module was rammed back into the Earth's atmosphere, simulating a lunar return. Another milestone in preparing for moon missions.
There you go. Apollo was good, man. Real good. That video was really neat. All right. Space news. What is this? Oh, dude. I'm very proud to report the first name, last name is the NASA administrator. All right. Yes. All right. Let me fire up the YouTube. Let me fire up YouTube. I'll be right back. First name, last name. Yes. Okay. YouTube's going live in 3, 2, 1. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. What's going on, guys? It's a good day for space news. It's a good day. It's a good day for space news. Let me get some of the links transferred over, and I will clue you guys in. I mean, we're going to headline. Actually, we should probably... What do you guys want to do? You guys want to do all the other stuff first? We should do all the other stuff first. Because I'm worried we'll never get to it otherwise. Hey, Lava, what's going on, man? Oh, today is such a good day, man. Okay. Now, some of you may ask, why? Why is it a good day? Hang on, let me just clear my notifications. Oh, NSF posted the Flame Trench availability for this week. That's something that you guys are privy to. I think we should sign up. All right, I had to take a dig at Kevin, and now we should be good. All right, so, guys, it is a great day for space news. You know what? Yeah, it's a great day for space news. The Senate confirmed first name, last name to be the 15th administrator of NASA. Aren't you like a stable of that show? Yeah, but I got to tell them I'm going to be there. Rook getting confirmed on Kitty Hawk Day is pretty cool. That's right. So this is just a placeholder, but guys, if you haven't heard, Jared Isaacman became the 15th administrator of NASA official today with a vote from the United States Senate. The vote was 67 to, what was it, 30? Proving that the actually 2/3 majority of the Senate wants him to be NASA administrator. Yeah, I got you, Bandit. Yep. $67 to 30. That is a big deal. Yeah, that's no joke, man. We needed some good news, dude. We got some good news. What was the NRC guy's name? Richard Weaver, I think was his name. Yeah. So pretty much as of right now, Rook is being sworn in. That's basically happening right now. That's pretty good, man. That is pretty wild. There's congratulations all around. My freaking feed is full of it. Peter Beck, congratulations on Isaacman. Exciting times ahead of you at the helm of NASA.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Look, you can be happy all you want,
but deep down in your heart of hearts, you know you wanted NASA in the Department of Transportation.
Dave Limp. Good stuff. I wonder, did Gwen say anything? Let's see. No, not yet. Let's see if there's anything from the man himself. Dude. Hey, Steve Reed, what's up? 67 out of 97 is 69%. Okay. Okay. So, it's very interesting. Coincidence or not, but December 17th, 1903, 122 years ago, was the day that the Wright brothers took to the sky with the Wright Flyer. That's, Rook was confirmed on the day the Wright brothers first flew. Pretty cool, man. Yeah, I know, Alex. I saw other people say it. I just, yeah, words. I don't even know what to say. That's pretty crazy. You know, Jared's gonna hopefully do some pretty crazy things. You know, hopefully he doesn't get too nutty, but any news from last night in the Jaxa scrub? No. Not bad for a high school dropout. The NRC guy got 69 votes. All right. Jens, what's up, man? Good evening, EJ. Thanks for producing awesome content for the upstream community. Really enjoy your streams.
This is Space.
Hey,
I'm in space.
Jens. 5 subs. Thanks, man. All right. Guys, I'm just, you know what? I was talking about this when we were out working on the car a little bit earlier. Then we watched a confirmation while I was working. And dudes, I'm just, you know, there's been a lot of I've been following NASA for a very long time. Really long time. Some of you guys have been longer than me, you know. We're back in the Situation Room. What's up, Rob? You know, and I've just watched NASA shoot themselves in the foot and shoot themselves in the foot again and again and again and again and again. And it just, you know, the 14th administrator is a guy by the name of Bill Nelson. And I'm sure he meant well, but frankly, it was atrocious policy over the last like 4 or 5 years. It's just, it's not great. You know, it's good to see somebody that's younger in there. I think Jared Isaacman, how old is he? He's like 41, 42, something like that. That's pretty young. That's good. Me neither, Admana. Yeah, I deleted that immediately. I don't think Nelson was a particularly good NASA administrator. I started out with high hopes, but it was very clear that he was very much status quo. And yeah, that was not cool. But that's what I mean, you know, NASA taking L after L and just shooting himself in the foot over and over and over again. Like, the space news has been good for the commercial, like, you know, Blue with New Glenn launch and SpaceX with the Starship flights and whatnot. But NASA has truly needed a champion, you know, and they need a W. And today is a W. Today's a big W. It's nice to see NASA with a victory, you know. Apparently, this was the issue. A system to inject cooling water at the launch pad automatically stopped 16.8 seconds before liftoff after a sensor detected insufficient water levels. Mutter, did you watch me cover the Electron launch yesterday, bridging the swarm? I said that it is very rare that sound suppressors don't work. It's very rare, because I thought that's what happened with Electron. What are the odds of that? I think Big Brother had a very tight chokehold on Bill. Yeah, maybe. Oh, jeez, Jens. You jinxed it. Yeah. I said that it's very rare that that happens, but then just 6 hours after that, a rocket scrubbed because the sound suppressor didn't work. That's weird, dude. That's very strange, man. Anyway. It's really nice. Jared is 42 years old. Thank you. Thank you. It's very, very nice to see. It's very nice to see NASA with a W here. Well, I mean, we don't know it's a W. I think it's good news, but to be 100% honest with you, it kind of remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I don't know. We don't know what he's going to do. I'm fairly confident it's going to be more good than bad, but it's good to have some good news. He's 2 years older than you, Dan. What are you doing with your life, man? I'm right there with you, dude. Jared's only 5 years older than me. That's 100% net positive over Sean Duffy. Yeah. I mean, isn't he a self-made billionaire who's trying to consumerize space travel? Is that what NASA wants? Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it kind of remains to be seen, Rob. We'll see how that all kind of goes together. Out of curiosity, if you could pick anyone alive right now, who would be the perfect NASA administrator? I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Just pick yourself. Mike Griffin would be at the top of my list. First thing he needs to do is bring back a certain moonlander that is already built. Buzz Aldrin? Yeah, right. Homer Hickam would be a pretty good one. Chris, you turned 35 today. You feel old? Man, I'm 37. Yeah, so? That's nothing, dude. It means nothing. Whatever. Tori Bruno? Mike Griffin, yeah. I like Mike Griffin. I think his ideas for Constellation were amazing, dude. I'd argue whoever is heading Amtrak right now, whoever they are, they know how to do their homework and actually understand the assignment, considering how much they've been improving recently. Huh? I turned 50 in 3 days. Shut it. Yeah. 50 is nothing. That's nothing nowadays. You want me on roid rage? Wait, what? What do you mean? I'm 50. I celebrated when the Berlin Wall came down. Now not so much. Eileen Collins? Gwen Shotwell? I wouldn't pick Gwen Shotwell because she needs to run SpaceX. John Innsbrucker. That's a good...
Discovery.
Actually, Rook is, to be honest with you guys, Jared Isaacman is a very good pick. That's a really good pick. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that when you know, I was thinking who would be the president's NASA administrator at the beginning of his term. Hans Königsmann, yeah. Scott Manley. Scott? I don't know, man. Scott would be a pretty good NASA administrator, you know? Come on, help Jack out. He's going to have to run 10K soon. What do you mean? Jim Bridenstine was his first term administrator, Rob. Jim did a pretty good job. Actually, to be 100% honest with you, Jim has been the best NASA administrator that we've had probably in the last 30 years. Yeah. How's the car today, New Glenn? Good, man. Good. Gerst. That's a good guess. That would be... You got to watch the Astroforge podcast. Oh, yeah, they do have a podcast, don't they? Ken Bauer socks. Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I was just surprised to hear Mike Griffin. I like Mike Griffin. Sad, like, if we're going to go for an in-house government space program, that's who I thought he would pick, but no. That's, yeah. I'll tell you what, EJ, you take NASA and you take Secretary of the Navy. Brimo, because she could put up and handle my tail. I think they got the best man right now. I was going to say, Rook, I didn't really understand Rook picking Jared Isaacman. Not when he first did. Not because I wouldn't think that Jared Isaacman would be a good administrator. Because it was more like, wait, we can do that? We can just pick him? No, I haven't, Hellfish, no. It's a cool picture, RJ. Could Elon be NASA administrator? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you could make Elon NASA administrator. I don't think that's a good idea. I think he's fine where he is. So like that's the thing, man. You gotta be careful about, you know, who you pick. You'd have to divest from SpaceX if he wanted to be NASA administrator. He probably wouldn't do it. I don't think he'd be a good NASA administrator. Let's put it like this. I think that Elon's brain is not suited for the purposeful inefficiencies of government. I think that's a very nice way of putting that, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah. I don't think that would end well. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, geek. That's why, I mean, that's what Rook has going for him. He knows how to run a big company. Knows how to run a large system. He's been to space. He's young. He's sharp. The guy's sharp as a tack, dude. Yeah. Okay, President EJ, who do you select as NASA administrator today? I'd probably... First of all, you do not want me being president. That would... Knucklehead, my brain immediately said no. And then my brain went, that would be fun. No, it wouldn't. Canada loves you. Oh. I don't think you guys would want me being president. Your brain went, bring back the space shuttle. How'd you know? Yeah, Nader, I'm with you. I know. Yeah. Guys, the government has purposeful inefficiency built into it. Checks and balances is by default purposeful inefficiency. It's designed like that on purpose. To make sure nobody consolidates power. I don't think that is how Elon likes running things, you know? Yeah, word thoughts, exactly. Hey, Brand, what's going on, man? What's up, Rocket Man? Nothing, man. What's up with you? Turbo would be part of the preschool curriculum if EJ was president. No. Yeah. See, that's the thing, dudes. I'm thinking about this more and more. I would be really good with spaceflight policy and pretty useless with everything else. They'd be like, what do you think about, you know, making sure that every child has something to eat? I'd be like, space. That's what I think about that. Click. You know, they'd be like, what? Hey, this country has gone rogue. What should you do about it? Space. Just blame Canada for everything? I can do that. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Yeah, but you'd build the crap out of the Navy. Yes. Yes. John, that's correct. Illegal aliens, yeah. Space. What? I mean, no, I'm talking about those aliens, not those aliens. Yeah. Be like, what are you talking? Like, I don't think I'd be a good space. Refit the battleships with railguns. I'd do that. Yeah, I'd do that. I'd be like, yo, railguns. Railguns. If we can have a railgun that launches an airplane off of a carrier, we can have a railgun that shoots out a projectile, okay? I'm just saying. All right, Rob. Have a good rest of your stream. Be good. Yep. Cool, man. Be good. Build a new Iowa class with railguns. Yeah. All right, Wartuz. Good night. Blame Canada. Yeah, New Glenn, that's pretty much right. I'd go to, like, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and be like, yo, how many tanks do we have? And they'd be like, oh, we have about 2,000 tanks. I'd be like, why isn't that number 4,000? Why isn't it 4,000? I'd be like, why? Why isn't it? Huh? How many space shuttles do you have? Well, we have 5. No, why isn't it 20? How many SLS rockets do you have? No, we have like 3.5. No. Why isn't there 100? Come on. Money. Yeah. Why aren't they in space? Yeah. I thought railguns were currently impractical because they basically require a vacuum because of the plasma heating in the air. You could just not launch it at light speed. Light speed. How long do you think we'll have to wait before you give a first announcement? It's probably going to happen later tonight, dude. As far as I know, the why are you building more ships? Are you planning to go to war? No. I plan on preventing a war. That would be my thing, Lenprod. I'll share a political opinion that I have. 1, walk softly and carry a huge freaking stick. No one's going to screw with you if you have more guns than anybody else. And not today's guns, tomorrow's guns. You understand what I'm saying? No one's going to screw with you then. Teddy Roosevelt. You got it, Bran. I firmly believe that. If you have more ships than the other guy, heck, if you have more bullets than the other guy, that's a big deal. Like missiles, for instance. Say we do get into a fight. How many missiles we have? How long is that going to last? Well, that's how I think. I think it's very engineer brain, you know? Like, I got your message. I don't know, man. You know, how many missiles we got? How long is the missiles gonna last? How many tanks we got? How many Humvees? I want to know everything. How many Humvees do we have?
Discovery, go at throttle.
How many MRAPs? You know, how many rockets? How many rockets we got? How many? Like, if you went to NASA right now and said, "Hey, how many rockets you got?" They'd be like, 3.5. 3.5. NASA has 3.5 rockets. You have Artemis 2, Artemis 3, and part of Artemis 4. 2.5. 2.5 rockets? Now, don't get me wrong. That's not really how that works, and I know that's not how that works. But also, when you say it like that, it evokes a certain point. There's bits of Artemis 5 around. Yep. Nick, Baby Shark. Yeah. Actually going off on launch cells, too. Check Discord, please. I'd literally just checked Discord right before you said that. Are you talking about first name, last name? He's going to be a great NASA administrator. Yeah, exactly, Alex. You ask SpaceX how many rockets they have, they'll tell you 30 to 40 Falcon 9s. Got a couple Starships teed up, good to go. Why isn't NASA doing that? Just saying. I'm saying that with a SpaceX shirt on. 3. You got 3 rockets. Okay. The U.S. and its allies still have the advantage in launch cell numbers. Okay, so Hellfish, my next question would be how much of an advantage? Why is it not double? You can't be sure. It's war. There's tons of unknown unknowns. Just looking at it from a purely spaceflight engineering point of view, war has tons of unknown unknowns. Hell with that. No, it's just the account that's got made darker. Actually, honestly, if it... Honestly, if it was me. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I want to get into this conversation. We'll get back to space news. I would be looking at drones. I would be looking at domestic drone manufacturing. And in order for domestic drone manufacturing, you need domestic chip manufacturing, domestic electric motor, domestic prop manufacturing. Because I think every squad should have a drone guy. Drone guy carrying 2 to 3 drones just on his back. 1 for recon. 2 that go bum bum. Drones don't work as well for long-range Pacific wars. I'm not talking about fighting a long-range Pacific war. I'm talking about at the infantry level. What is the bottleneck on making Artemis faster? We gotta want to at this point, John. USA needs Shahed 136s. Yeah. Telling me we can't make a better thing? We have to copy somebody? Give me a freaking break. A geek, that would probably, if I was president, that would probably be my national policy, whatever it does, whatever it takes to make stuff here. That wouldn't go over very well with people that like the environment, though. Also, we need to radically shorten the time between concept and deployment. NASA needs to be able to take risks, Aqualux, for sure. Yeah. Not risks like the Artemis 2 heat shield. That's stupid. Yeah, I would be really looking at, and I know this is completely unrealistic. I'd be looking at tomorrow's war, right? But tomorrow's war is hard to predict. That's the thing. My whole thing would be centered around deterrence. No air superiority due to drones ruling the day. See, that's the thing, guys. I wouldn't go heavy, like super heavy into drones if I was president. I wouldn't lean too far into it, to be honest. Drones are working in Ukraine, the Ukrainian theater of operations. They're working pretty well over there on both sides. That's not a full-scale conflict, though. It is a conflict. It definitely is a war, but meaning that you don't need drones when you have F-35s. Except on like a 1 to 2 person, like just a little guy every once in a while in case you need it, Fighting an insurgency, drones would have been a really good idea. That's actually not my idea. That was Ian McCullum from Forgotten Weapons. That's a good idea. Can you imagine if we had the drones, in Afghanistan or Iraq? How many less people would we have? How many people would we have saved? Gun Jesus, yeah, exactly. He said that. That's a very good point. Yeah. A drone swarm would probably beat an F-35. No, it would not. Cerebral, it wouldn't. Unless the F-35 is flying below 5,000 feet, which F-35s would never do in a theater of operations. Imagine a boys in Iraq dealing with an IED. Yeah, but we have that technology too at Mena. Booster 19 hot staging segment moved into the high bay last night. Nice. Can the F-35 be flown remotely? No, but it can control things. The F-35 has its own drone swarm, guys. That's what people don't understand. Drones are a single piece of the puzzle. Yep. He said that tearing the MCX Spear a new one, which it deserves. I'm kind of with him, dude. He kind of sold me on it, Coltec. I'm not going to lie to you. What the hell is the point of that thing? If you want a full battle rifle, why engineer a new battle rifle? Just make M39 EBRs again. If that's what we want to do. Or just keep the M4 because the M4 is disgustingly good. Yeah, I know, New Glenn. Mm-hmm. Just use M1s. Yeah, exactly. Steve Ree, M39s. An M39 EBR is a really heavily upgraded M1, let's say. It's a really heavily upgraded M1. Anyway, first name dot last name. You don't want me being president. I'd do a NASA administrative job though. I'd do that. If Grandpa Buff became a drone mothership, it'd be game over. Can you imagine it, Mana? You have like a JDAM, right? It drops it, but instead of actually like impacting the ground, the thing just opens up and it's just a cluster of freaking drones. I would feel real bad for whoever that freaking goes near. That would be hell, man. The dumb rule of engagement is what held us back and hurt us. Yeah, I know, goalie. Yeah, turns out the military is not a police force. I'm fairly certain that exists, even if it's not public. Illard, yeah, like I said, if we thought about it here for like just a split second, you know somebody, Uncle Sam has thought of it, right? Chris, you would cancel the retirement of the A-10? I wouldn't cancel the retirement of the A-10, Chris. I would make something better. That's right. The A-10 is kit bashed, fellas. It's kit bashed from parts from the 70s. Seriously, it's kit bashed. The gun isn't even. The gun isn't even. The gun is part of the model kit, so to speak. The A-10 is a kit bash thing. It's not. They made it out of spare parts. So we're ordering F-35s left and right. You telling me we can't make a couple of extras? Take parts from the F-35. Make another A-10. Keep the Gatling gun. Just make another one. Make new ones with F-35 kit bashed out of F-35 parts. There you go. Done. I'd still build it around the GAU 8. The Avenger, John? Of course. Build it around the Avenger. But the A-10s that are currently flying, guys, are like 50 years old. You got to remember, that plane's from the 70s. When was the last time an A-10 was produced? I'd basically build another one. Build a new one. Heck, use F-15EX parts. Pick a plane that is in production right now and build a new one, kit bashed of parts off of that. Just do that. The Gripen? What the hell are you going to do with the Gripen? That thing sucks. The C models are basically new aircrafts. An F-35B with a 30mm Avenger on it? Oh, God. The last one was in the early 80s. Okay, so make more. Oh, Gripen is cool? Yeah, Swedish. Whatever. Picture a stealth A-10. That's what I'm saying, goalie. Build a new one. Build a new one. Just modernize. Fully modernized. Build a new one. Center it around the 30mm attack cannon, and you pick engines and parts that are off the shelf. That's what made the A-10 so damn good. It's kit bashed out of other plane parts. Guys, you see that? You see this thing right here? We were playing Flight Sim yesterday. See that? That's an A-10's flight stick. You know why? Because they kit bashed the A-10 from the F-16. It has the same flight stick as an F-16 because it's just made out of leftover parts. I agree. More. Can you play MSC with that? Now, what the heck am I going to do with that in MSC? Gatling inspired mini railgun. That doesn't really work that way. Much as I love the A-10, it's simply not survivable on the modern battlefield. That's what I'm getting at, Nader. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly, spoiled. Mm-hmm. B-52 is still going. Yeah, because the airframes are ridiculously over-engineered. They're designed to get hit with like a nuclear blast and just be fine with it, you know? Anyway, let's get to the rest of the space news. Jared Isaacman should be... Actually, he should be being sworn in right about now. Why not 40 millimeter? You want a Mark 19 minigun? Illard, you don't get to have a $10 billion project go over 200 billion with a kit bash, though. More. You want the new A10 to have 40 millimeter Bofors attached to it? Okay. All right. We'll get into the rest of the space news. Phil, what do you got for me? No, that's ESAR. I still have that news, but this is what I wanted right there. This is from Kiko Donchev. He's the VP of launching at SpaceX. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team for achieving 165 launches. Well, we originally set out for 170. We actually revised the manifest to 165 this summer based on business and manifest needs. We have 2 more Falcon launches to go in 2025 for extra credit total of 167 launches. Worth noting that Starlink 6-99 was our last single stick from 39A for some time as we put full focus on Falcon Heavy launches and ramping up Starship from the Cape. Goalie, I have questions here. So you're telling me we can have Falcon Heavy and Starship on both their pads, and Starship on both pads at 39A? Oh. Whoa. Whoa, dude. Hang on. Let me check something. I just want to see. When he says Falcon Heavy, how many... So Griffin, that's Astrobotic. That's a lunar lander. Nancy Grace Roman, and then Astrobotic 3. How many Falcon Heavy launches did they do this year? None. Someone told you it's going to be 6 next year? Well, it's definitely more than 3. You're not going to retool 39A for 3 launches. You're not going to do what he's talking about just for those 3 missions. What's GLS? Gateway? No. It's got to be some of these guys. SF-75, SS-70, L-97. Because, let's be real, these missions aren't happening soon. Yeah, it's got to be more than those three, dudes. Now, you know what the other thing I was thinking about, dudes? If you're taking 39A off, the manifest for single stick Falcon Heavy launches, what the heck is the turnaround going to be for Slick 40? Yeah, I expect Gateway on track for 2027. Not sure, but for sure not 2026. And 3 launches is not that much. Yeah, that's what I mean, dude. There's got to be more on the... He said moron. There's got to be additional launches here that we don't know about. Slick 40 does support crew missions. Yeah, they built... SpaceX last year built a crew access tower. This is an extraordinarily old picture. There's a crew access tower right here, dude. Actually, hold on. We might be able to zip it in and zip it out. Yep, there it is. See? Yeah, Crew 9 was the first one to launch from there. It's got to be Department of Defense missions, dudes. Slick 40 cannot do Falcon Heavy. No, Fluffy. It's only single stick. Now you get why they put the landing pad so close. Yeah, over here, actually, basically where that circle is a landing pad. SpaceX built a Falcon 9 landing pad right here so they can just tow the first stages right back. Interesting. So Starlink 6-99 launched out of the Cape this morning before I started streaming. That was 1094 on its 6th flight. It did launch from 39A, and I guess that was the last one. Why do all these launch pads have perfectly circular roads around them? It's just easier. It's easier for an access road to be like this, so you can get at all the ground servicing equipment very easily. Pad HIF launch? What do you mean? Oh. Pad right into there and then launch it again? Jeez. Question obviously asked by an American. Don't say roundabout. Nice typo, Nader. Yeah, single stick for some time. Yep. Nice autocorrect, dude. I can't say it on stream, but that's still pretty funny, man. Not the single stick, the whole stick. Oh, dear. It's just short for Bonhomme Richard. Yes, that's right. Cool. How long does it take to integrate the upper stage? Not long, dude. Does this mean 39A is offline for 5 to 6 months? Yeah, guys. I think that's going to give them all the time in the world to do that. Maybe they want to build the VIF for the Department of Defense Falcon Heavy. That's a good point, Phil. Yeah, Fluffy, look. Read. This is from Kiko Donchev. He's the vice president of launching at SpaceX. Start thinking what is heavy that needs to go up. Gateway. Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Why is 167 funny? I don't know. No, I'm not doing that, Knucklehead. I'm not doing that, man. Yeah, so can Falcon Heavy launch Gateway? Yes, it can. Yeah, I think they might. Maybe they'll start building the VIF, the vertical integration facility. So a little while ago, SpaceX said that they're going to build a vertical integration facility for Department of Defense payloads at 39 that looks like that for the extended fairing Falcon Heavy. Maybe they'll start building it, dude. What's it for? Putting satellites on top of it that need to be vertically integrated. Some satellites aren't designed to be on their side, New Glenn. And Falcon Heavy needs to roll up sideways to the pad like this and then rotate up into position up there. Is Falcon Heavy extended fairing still a thing? Yeah, I have no reason to believe that it isn't. What is the most Falcon Heavy can lift? Dude, Falcon Heavy can do like 70, 80 tons into Leo. If you expend the center core, yeah, 70 tons. That extended fairing is also needed for Gateway, might I add. It can't launch the Halo, the Habitation and Logistics Outpost and the Power and Propulsion element of Gateway without the extended fairing. And Starship is only 35 tons. The tentative versions, Baranok, are that, yes. You can't, though, because it uses a payload adapted in second stage from Falcon 9, so Falcon Heavy can only send Falcon 9 payload mass in one go. You haven't read the updated user manual for Falcon rockets, Yuri, have you? SpaceX introduced a new payload attachment fitting. Go look. Yeah, SpaceX has a new payload attachment fitting so it could do more. Believe it or not, if that user manual, Yuri, makes it seem like the payload attachment fitting was your bottleneck there for structural loads, which is all right. Would Gateway use the VIF? Unlikely. I don't know, dudes. It's been a while since SpaceX teased that, so who knows if that's even getting built. Is there no fuel on the moon or other planets? What kind of fuel? Yeah, guys, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they won't be building that. It's probably just to finish the Starship pad, dude. Like, SpaceX is still working on the larger fairing. Yeah, that's still a thing. Is the new Vandenberg site optimal for VIF? I mean, Slick 6 is being retooled for Falcon Heavy. No word on how long that's going to take, guys. But yeah, I'll bet you it's to finish Starship's pad. That's crazy, man. I can't believe this is all going on here. Or they want to debut AI Starlink on Falcon Heavy until Starship is ready. Bill, is it bad if the only reason that AI Starlink, I'm like excited about AI Starlink is because it could potentially give SpaceX enough revenue to fund Mars missions indefinitely? Is that bad? Yuri, to be honest, you kind of hate AI Starlink? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Sorry, you'd gladly forgotten about all the SpaceX AI stuff. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up. I'll change the subject. Yeah, Vanta, there you go. It's too early to tell. Yeah. Like, Starlink, I was like, oh, man, it's internet for everybody. That's so cool. It's like AI Starlink. It's like, okay. Dan, you can't help but notice there's over 130 people on the YouTube stream. Oh, hey, guys. Thanks for watching. Right on. Thank you so much. That's actually pretty high for a space news, but then again, it was a pretty big day for space news today, too. The Jays traded... No way. Knucklehead, you can talk about that here. Why would they do that? Wait, really? No, you got to be kidding me. They traded Justin Brill to the Guardians. No, that can't be. They did. They traded him to Cleveland. What are you guys doing? Do you want to win another? Do you want to get to another World Series or not?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
That sucks, dude. That sucks so bad. Yeah, score. Yeah, Coley. Yeah, Coley's over there going over to a Cleveland Indians fan. He's like, eh. Yeah, the Indians. There you go. It's the Indians. That's right. The Guardians. Yeah. Hey, DH. 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. What the heck are the Guardians? What the heck is an aluminum falcon? EJ, I know you're not crazy about college football, but did you see the Montana Grizz 93-yard punt return during last Saturday's game? 93. Every 93-yard punt return is a good one, man. Rarest, OpenAI has 1.5 trillion in payments due to data centers and lost 12 billion this quarter. Element, you hope the AI bubble pops before SpaceX goes public. Actually, dudes. Yeah, frick the Grizz. Go Bobcats. Is this some Montana thing, Fluffy, I don't know about? Chiefs got shut down for the season. Now, hopefully my state could be quiet about them. They'll never stop talking about it as long as Travis Kelce's on the team, Sleepy. Sorry, man. The biggest frustration I have with all the large language model BS being pushed right now, EJ, is that they're pushing it all. They're all pushing it despite it being a solution without a problem. In many cases, being significantly worse than the previously existing solutions. Like, seriously, I don't want my computer guessing for me what I want it to do. Yes. Want it to do and use itself while sharing my search history with its corpo daddy. It's the latter part of that, Aqualux, it's the latter part. Dude, I think... So, okay, personally, I think you kind of answered your question. There's no solution for it. Data farming is its solution, dude. Think about it. Oh, that's the ultimate data farmer. Biting your tongue, Dan. And you know what? Dude, that's some 1984 stuff, man. I don't need that. Because you know the government's gonna want in on it. Can we just not do that? I mean, the answer is no, but yeah, same for TVs. Like, dude, I get in my freaking car and Apple CarPlay comes on and it's like, oh, you want to go to the grocery store? Yeah, you want to go to the grocery store. You want to go to the grocery store because you went to the grocery store last week at this time. It's like, bro, dude, look, I get it. You're going to mine the crap out of my data. You don't need to let me know like that, please. Okay? Yeah, exactly. Oculus, I know. It ain't much, but it's dishonest work. Mark Zuckerberg, Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. Yeah, I don't like it at all. That's why I try to stay private with a lot of things, dude. There's just stuff I just don't put on the internet. There's stuff I don't bring near my smartphone or whatever. Yeah. EJ, could Jared in theory start getting things done at NASA today if he wanted? If he gets sworn in by the vice president, he can do whatever he wants, man. Yeah. Yeah, he's in, dude. He's basically in. If I had to guess, he's probably getting sworn in like right now. Now, fellas, here's the thing. I was talking with Brimo about the whole space IPO AI thing. You got a launch vector vibe going on, and I like it. I do love flight operations and launch direction. I'm glad you like it, Mock Diamonds. Ah, I got you. Nice. Everybody, we like Mock Diamonds here. We're pretty big fans. Duffy's portrait was literally taken down within minutes of the confirmation. Dude, you know, in hindsight, man, I like... Okay, Fanta, am I a terrible person for saying this? Like, I don't know, maybe. Fanta, I like that Sean Duffy was on the news all the time talking about NASA. I really do. I really appreciate that. Like, I'm not even kidding. He was there talking about what NASA's going to do, talk about what NASA needs to get done, etc., etc. I really... You know what, man? I don't like the DOT, NASA, you know, rolling them into one thing. That pissed me off. I didn't like that. That was really stupid. But up until that point, I don't think he was doing necessarily bad. You know, it's just, yeah. You know, it's interesting. I like that Duffy was in the public eye a lot, but let's just say he was keeping the seat warm for Jared Isaacman. Let's just say that. And people taking his portrait down at NASA HQ is saying pretty much the writing is on the wall and the picture is off of the wall. You know what I'm saying? 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 It's saying a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Is there a stream of them swearing him in? I really hope they would stream it, but they probably won't. Guys, I was talking with Brimo about this SpaceX AI thing. And, okay. So here's the thing. They want these Starlink AI satellites, right? And that they're using that to make basically a decentralized data center on orbit, right? That's the whole plan, okay? That data center will have AI computing on top of it, so basically it's Skynet. Like it's basically Skynet minus the guns. It is, for what it's worth. Not that I like saying that, but here's the thing. Look, say they do it and they IPO, right? And AI is a bubble and it pops. You still have a data center in space. And you're offering, even without the AI stuff, you are offering a service here that no one else has. So even it makes it pretty dang recession proof. Because once again, you have a data center where the electricity, the power that it consumes is nothing. Your data center, your Starlink AI satellites are still a data center in space. You basically can operate a data center for nothing. Think about that for a second. It's not a bad play. My guess is that Elon wanted to put the AI satellite component on board a modified Starship to get that AI money to do this, to build a data center in space faster than anyone else. What about cooling? So 619, is the cooling a hard problem to solve? Yes, absolutely. You have to use thermal radiation. You have to radiate light through blackbody radiation, which means these satellites need a big radiator on it. But the power is free. Think about this for a second. You have a data center that has no electric bill. The amount of heat that you need to shed off and the amount of power it takes to do that is nothing, right? So think about it like this. You have the cost to air condition and run a data center. So you need the electrical for a data center on the ground. right? You have its power usage. What is the power usage broken down into? The power usage is broken down into computing power and climate control. You're already doing that down here. Okay, so your utility bill for a data center is for the computing power and to keep it cool, right? You have your computing power and utility. Okay? Up there, the power, the solar, you give it a big enough solar panel, the power is free. And you already have to pay for HVAC down here. So pay for HVAC up there. Or don't pay for HVAC up there because power is free. It's a data center that you can run for nothing. No utility cost. Think about that. Remo is actually the one that told me this. Like, I was thinking about it. Like, even if the AI bubble bursts and these satellites don't end up using AI or Grok or whatever, right? You still have a data center in space. And you have a data center in space before everybody else does. Power's not free, though. That's oversimplified. You still need to factor in launch cost, inability to do maintenance, manufacturing to replenish the fleet, etc., etc. How does that make sense compared to Earth with a virtually unlimited supply of water and energy? All systems, see what Phil said right below you. He actually said it. Yeah. Regulation is also much simpler. No need for a permit per data center. Much better scaling. And mass solar power generation. I mean, all systems, here's the thing. They already mass produce solar panels. They already mass produce satellites. You get the no cost for electricity, but thermodynamics still exists. Could they recycle the heat into power? It's most likely that they'll just radiate it. The SpaceX CFO said, clearly reassured that Mars colonization is a priority. Where did he say that, reactions? We're talking about SpaceX AI. I get that launches are getting cheaper and cheaper enough that they offset the cost of all systems with Starship. They will. Yeah, sure. See, like, here, can I go read what you said again? Power is not free, though. That is overly simplified. It's not, but here, look, you still need to factor in launch costs, okay? SpaceX has a reusable rocket. If you're looking to launch in scale, that's the cheapest. They have the cheapest way to do it by a long shot. Will that offset like a regular data center production? Probably not. Inability to do maintenance? Sure. Yeah, that's an issue. Satellite, you're going to have to keep up maintenance by maintaining the fleet. They already do that with Starlink, though. They already have the manufacturing line set up to do it with Starlink. So keep in mind, these SpaceX AI satellites are just modified Starlink V3s. How does that make sense to Earth with a virtually unlimited supply of water? You don't have to pay for water. And energy, nuclear, you know, I'm sure if Elon could just place down a nuclear power plant, like you could plop one down in cities, I'm sure he would do that. We're winning today, Shmam. It's a pretty good day. Jared Isaacman got confirmed as NASA administrator. Offshoring computer power, guys, into space, computing power into space is not the stupidest idea. And once again, fellas, for what it's worth, I'm not 100% on board. I'm not 100% on board with the AI thing. I mean, it's very risky, and I don't want to risk colonization of another planet over. I don't think that I think that risking colonization of another planet over AI, potentially a bubble, is a really stupid thing to do. The last time the commercial launch industry really leaned into tech in the 90s, it didn't work. It worked very bad, actually. We ended up in a gigantic recession because of the dot-com bubble, and the launch market collapsed overnight. I'm not saying it's the smartest idea, guys, but that's the potential for it. The potential for it is that, you know, if you have the manufacturing set up, which SpaceX already does for Starlink, and this is a very, very small modification to a regular Starlink satellite, it's a no-brainer. This was the article from the CFO. Let me see. SpaceX executive confirms interest in an IPO. Okay, so that's from, okay, it's from Space News. I just wanted to make sure it was a reputable source, Milge. Thank you. So, yeah, dudes, I like, once again, I'm not saying I like the AI thing, but I understand the play. I still think it's too risky for my taste. But, AI might hit a brick wall, but it won't disappear. It's not going away. It's extremely useful aside from the slop. It really is. Ringatato, yeah. See, I don't necessarily hate AI. I understand that AI is a tool, and we could leverage this tool to do really good work. My thing is that if AI, you know, let's just take like basic tools, okay? If AI is a hammer, okay? Right? What does a hammer do? It hammers nails in. You use it for percussive maintenance on things, right? And to nail nails in, specifically nails. My problem with AI is that everyone and their mother is trying to start a company right now that says, this hammer, you don't need a screwdriver anymore. You don't need a nail gun anymore. You don't need a wrench anymore. This will solve all your problems. This hammer solves all your problems. You need a screw? Hammer. Okay? You need to clean your dishes? Hammer. All right? You want to undo this tire? Hammer. Hammer tech is the best, right? Hammer tech. Nice. You see what I'm saying? That's my big thing with AI. It's everybody, like, dude, does anybody here even think about like what they're proposing? No, they're just, I mean, it's like the beginning of, if you guys ever watched a show called Silicon Valley? Silicon Valley came out in 2010s, came out 10 years, it came out 10 years ago. Whatever. You ever watch the first episode? Everybody there is trying to work on their pitches, and they're all like, we want to use this technology to make the world a better place. We want to use it to make the world a better place, to make the world a better. Stop lying. It's about making money. All right, shut up. Stop lying. You don't care about making the world a better place if you use AI to data mine me to know where I go, when I go to the grocery store. Use this hammer to wash your automobile. Like, dude, shut the hell up. Like, we need a company named Hammer AI. Oh, God. Yeah, exactly. A hammer is useful. Yeah, exactly. A hammer is useful in certain situations. Not every freaking thing. Like, personally, I don't really understand how a data center in space with AI is going to, like, okay. Why? What, just a data center in space is enough. That's like, oh no, it's got to have AI in it. It's like, okay. Ari data mining. I was talking about a potential business venture with Tally in the car. 2 hours later, she got ads on Facebook related to what we talked about. This is not okay, dude. There was the dot-com bubble, but in the end, the internet became a global powerhouse. Yeah. Has the hammer ever helped you in summer car? Probably not. Yep. Really messed up. I 100% hate this. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think Booster 19 will be completed by the end of the month? I said that Booster 19 would be completed by the end of the month in November, Derby. Meaning that I said it's going to be done by Christmas in November. I said it on a Flame Trench. It was the Flame Trench right after the New Glenn launch. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Booster 19 by Christmas. Of course. Duh. EJ did use a hammer to do Jingle Bells. Just saying. I was using it to put to position a screw correctly, Knucklehead. Wasn't HammerTech the competitor to Stark Industries and filmed at SpaceX headquarters? Yes. Anyway. Not sure about the new boosters. There's still no explanation why it popped. It popped the COPV, dude. The COPV handling is not great. Anyway, next bit of space news. We actually have an update from Virgin Galactic. You remember them? Yeah, Alex, I'm 100% in agreement there. I can't stand this. It's really stupid. Inside the four walls of Virgin Galactic's spaceship factory, our team is building the next-gen fleet with precision. Well, I would hope so. Every part designed for hundreds of safe flights. Does that mean the ones that you flew before weren't designed for safe flights? Question. Parts flowing in weekly, systems installing, structures rising. This is the spaceship factory in full motion. Dive into episode 8 of We Build Spaceships. Probably gotta have to mute it. Here, let me... Yep. Virgin Galactic, the space tourism company, sending hundreds of millions of people to space per year? Yeah. Did you guys see that? Nitrous tank. You think I'm kidding? Virgin Galactic spaceship has a hybrid booster. It's nitrous oxide in solid rocket propellant. They inject nitrous into the engine to get it to perform. That makes the SRB relatively quote-unquote throttleable. I don't know, spoiled, yeah. Hey, switches. What those... I was going to say, are those Clecos? Yep, there you go. There's your nitrous tank. And they'll put that in a jig and mate that to the fuselage of the airplane with a thrust structure. Oh, man, I really wish we could hear this. If there's... Here, let me mute the sound. Give me 1 second. Ooh. COPV's in the wings, huh? Okay. Here, hold on. Let me go back. Oh, listen. Just drumming music. It's the inside of the tank viscosity. SpaceX got fined for showing the inside of the tank. Is it SpaceX mishandling or the COPVs or their supplier? I don't know. No closed captioning, I don't think. Nope. It's just a clock ticking noise. We build spaceships, episode 8, inside the spaceship factory. Inside these 4 walls, we're building spaceship. Could be small components, bigger assemblies. We are building every little bit, composites, electrical, mechanical. It's all being done and assembled here. We've tackled small components for avionics systems. We started assembling our pressure bulkhead, which includes mechanical systems, installations, and structural pieces. We installed our oxidizer tank into the Stargate fixture. Doing so, refinement into the lower fuselage. Installing systems and drilling holes for thousands of composite parts as we continue to progress our systems and sub-assemblies. This is our first article. We've learned a lot. Everything is incredibly precise. Everything fit how it was supposed to. Our real-world models actually matched our CAD models, which was great. They installed some mechanical systems for the main landing gear. They've been doing other work down on the bench with other composites. And they could quickly put the skin up or take the skin off. It's just like the quarter panels on the Coronet. I can grab them and put them on or take them off really, really fast. The jigs and tooling allow them to move very efficiently through the shop. There's 3,500 holes in the wing alone. Did you see that drill, dudes? Guys, drilling it. It's a drill with a vacuum cleaner attached to it. So when you go drill the holes, any shards from the carbon fiber just get sucked up. It's a pneumatic drill as well. Before they bonded everything together, and now that they've matured this design, they're using the drill and fastening everything on there. Drilling is quicker, simpler, easier to use. Ha 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 ha! Made in France. Did you guys know that in France, when a man is caught poaching ostriches, they shave his head and make him run backwards through the fields? Yay, Nathers, baguette. Oh, that's, yeah, made in France. That's not something you see every day. So this jig piece right here is for them to align the drill so they drill all the holes square. That's what that thing is for. You got to make sure everything is nice and square, meaning that one hole needs to be perfectly parallel to the other, especially when you're drilling carbon fiber. Carbon fiber makes a lot of shards. You need high RPM to drill through it, and you got to keep going. If you drill slow, low RPM with carbon fiber, it's going to get caught, and the drill will just end up winding up against it. And yes, I did see stuff come out at 215 right there. Stuff came out of it. See? Yeah, there's a little bit of chunkage going on there. Yeah, you can match it up and everything fits, yeah. Clicos! We want this to fly hundreds of times. We've invested all of this so we can fasten everything together. So we could do inspections and continue to fly on a regular basis. Ooh. Yeah, careful of that FOD right there, dude. Oh, I got to using a drill and jig like this during your internship at Airbus. Really, Daytal. It's the first thing I've ever seen made in France. I'll bet you. So, Daytal, you said you did that with Airbus. I'll bet you that's where they got it from, because they're doing something very similar here. I mean, if you're working on what's the 787 equivalent for Airbus? Is that a A350? Question? A350. Yeah, the A350. There you go. There's your tooling right there. I'll bet you why not? You know, why use something else if you're doing something similar? Guy's the director of manufacturing and engineering. He's been there for 15 years. They work with the design engineers. Oh, designers tell them what they want and they make it happen. Dude, hold on. Can I see that sub? Can I see that thing? I want to see that thing in slow-mo. Oh, yep. See, there's the nitrous tank. There's your SRB. Yeah, that's actually not that far off from how. Actually, are 787s made that way? It's similar. I actually don't know if they do the cups like that. That's no square hole. Yeah, right. Squishin, what's up, man? 89-month resub. His team works with how they put everything together. So new SRB every flight, yes. His main job is to help the shop floor bridge that gap between design changes and build. When the parts come from their suppliers, sometimes they're not always in the 100% finished state. It's just like me when I order parts for the Coronet, the stampings. Sometimes you got to finesse them a little bit. Yeah, love, I think so. Oh, cool, Dan. There you go. When you're building composite carbon fiber parts, there's allowables for that. Safety is number one, and they hold that as their standard. They're using a technique called, what did he say? Scarfing? Starfing? Oh, dude, look. So this guy's wearing a hazmat suit with a respirator. Look on the tent right there. See all that crap? Yeah, it looks like he might be deburring bits and pieces or getting bits of that carbon fiber. Like, is it called deburring when it's carbon fiber? I have no idea. That's carbon fiber dust. You don't want to breathe that. I think I'd rather eat fiberglass than breathe that, which is also bad for you. You shouldn't generally have either of those things near your mouth. Yeah, silicosis. Dude, I'm like wheezing just looking at that like, oh, God. No, Pie Guy, this is actually the correct application of a hazmat suit, not using it to fill up nitrogen tetroxide into a rocket. Okay. He's basically smoothing out imperfections in the fuselage. He's smoothing out imperfections in the fuselage because it's not a component isn't exactly fitting right. It actually is the same thing that I do when I order parts for the car. It's the same exact thing. Sometimes the parts come a little bent. Sometimes they're not perfect. Sometimes you got to mash them into position with the hammer, the AI hammer. No, carbon fiber. I wouldn't be hammering that. You just have to just scuff a little bit off. Better fitment. Yeah, okay. Ooh. Safety measures that they have in place. Prior to any lift operations, safety is at the forefront of their everyday life. They have a primary goal to get the oxidizer tank loaded into the assembly tool. There's a short brief prior to starting operations to ensure everybody understands what the goal is in that operation. But essentially, they're all in coordination with one another as they load the tank into its assembly tool. Would you rather breathe NTO or carbon fiber dust? Carbon fiber dust. NTO will kill you. Yeah, there's usually a safety briefing doing lifts pretty much everywhere. Now that activity levels are starting to rise, parts are starting to flow in, and resources are needed on all shifts to be able to cover the amount of work that's coming into the site daily. Teams have been doing a really good job. They set this up and they really executed really well on a shift handover. Communication is everything to get it right. They have in-person communications. The night shift will come in, they'll do their pass down, meet the other teams, and then we'll pass down that information. There's many different flavors of jobs. There are jobs that will continue working between shifts and some won't. Yeah, the shifts communicate with each other. Once again, pretty much that's like industry standard. So Spartan, 72-month resub. Yeah, I don't want that Oculus, yeah. Is this a short of join he was talking about? Scarf join? Yeah, maybe. See my last two if you can. Haven't had time to follow anything, but the biggest space news, unfortunately, I'm hoping to attend the Artemis 2 launch. Cool. You're still here. Just came out of the other end of a very rough and arduous college semester, a bit worse for the wear, but I managed it somehow. Looking forward to holidays to rest. Good, man. Christian, let me just say this before we finish captioning this video. My numbers always dip finals week. I've been streaming long enough to notice the correlation. My numbers always dip during finals, which means that you guys are taking my advice to not be dicking around on a Twitch stream when you should be taking finals. But yeah, finals week, at the end of every semester, my numbers always dip every time. So don't worry about it, dude. You do you. Focus on school. That's more important. But appreciate you seeing here. I appreciate seeing you here. Sorry, excuse me. There you go, Super. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, probably, Flykin. Your chemistry course was really interesting, though. The chapter on stoichiometry was rather familiar. All right. Whoosh. Pretty cool, huh? Good stuff. Chemistry is like freaking magnets, but with thousands of different types of magnets that bond in certain ways. It's really cool, dude. University chem is the bane of your existence, Super. Yep. Yep. All right, anyway, let's get back here. There'll be jobs that will get fresh off the press where they'll be not started, and they'll get those and finish them and then hand that back off to the day crew. Ooh, avionics. Dude, I bet those switches, when you flip that switch, I bet you it sounds amazing. I bet you it sounds like this. Oh. 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 Actually, that's a detent switch. You have to pull that switch back, don't you? Hands. No, I'm good. What we're currently assembling is an instrument panel. Gets installed into the flight deck. First the first thing they do is go through the bill of materials and make sure they have all the parts to do it. From there, they review the assembly documents to make sure that everything makes sense to the technicians. So what they're doing currently is installing the switch that go into it, and there gets the switches wired into a main connector assembly. And then from there, it'll be installed into the spacecraft and then built into the rest of the wiring system. We have a build plan, and we use that build plan as a mechanism to monitor and pass down notes to each other, a living record of the work accomplished and the work to be completed. We've tailored the handoff to be more efficient, to set up the the methods for success. Give them as much feedback and knowledge as that guy has to make everything better. The biggest joy is teaching the new mechanics and the new mechanics this craft, this trade. Do they have that aptitude and the willingness and the drive to want to learn it? Because if they have that, we can teach them. What they're looking for, this sounds like they need people to put spaceships together, man. If you're in Arizona, freaking get her done, dude. What they're looking for in technicians are integrity and attention to detail. All those things are needed to making a spaceship. His family knows he builds spaceship. Everyone knows he builds spaceships. That's what he just said. It's just a very exciting program that he's just super passionate about. This is the Virgin Galactic Spaceship Factory, and this is how we build spaceships. I do like that frame jig. Actually, is it a frame jig or is it a fuselage jig? S-Master, the current NASA administrator bought you pizza once. That's pretty good. Oh, dude, look at that. That's pretty nice. The freaking jigs. Oh, yeah. Guys, in another life, that's what I'd probably be doing. I'd probably be doing technician stuff. But then again, fellas, eventually making all these jig pieces and stuff, making all these jig pieces and assemblies and stuff is the kind of stuff that I would really like to do with cars. Is that weird? Is that weird if I'd want to make tooling for that thing? How cool would a stream be building the equipment to assemble the car better? Or down the road, assemble a rocket better? Are you picking up what I'm laying down here? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? DIY CNC builder riot. Here's a fun thing talking about flippy switches and such. A new study came out where they used earbuds and directional microphones to amplify the sounds of the tasks people with ADHD are doing to their own ears, and it provided significant assistance to concentration and staying on task even when exposed to distractions. You know what I'm saying? Too many know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you did bring that back, Flykin. That's totally your fault, dude. I had forgotten about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Building garage rockets confirmed. Too many nonsense, dude. You know what I'm saying? You know, we have the people, we could build a rocket in the backyard. Look, man. Fellas, okay. Let me explain the car build. Let me explain the car build like this. If you can build that, you can build a rocket. If you can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball. Just say when I'm on my way. Okay. Like those, you see those frame rails? They look like tusks. What kind of animal has tusks? We can make an electron-sized rocket. Guys, lights on. Didn't I tell you to stop making up imaginary animals? You got plenty of machinist support. God, getting a second CNC machine. Guys, that's what I'm saying, man. I've been trying to get really good at working on cars because cars gives you the mechanical experience to put together more complicated things if you can do it very, very well. I'm not saying that there's a method to my madness, but there is a method to my madness. Look, man, if we're going to build rockets, even high-powered rockets, dude, I'm not screwing around. We're not going to screw around. My goal is that if and when we do, when we go for an L1 cert or an L2 or an L3 cert, I want my rocket to work perfectly the first time. I'm not going to take no for an answer there. It will be perfect. Rockets are less rusty than Jeeps, only difference. Well, I mean, it's not just Jeeps. It just seems to be any Chrysler product just really likes to rust. But I will admit, my rocker panels are in better condition than yours are. And mine are 56 years old. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? Are you sure it's a method to your madness or a madness to your method? Yes. Don't you mean orbital? Goalie, we got to start with high-powered stuff, dude. If you can't do HPR, you're not building an orbital rocket, man. You're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But, dude, yeah, I would love to build all the tooling and jigs for this. How cool would it be to have, like, like a gantry crane that you could pick this thing up off and you have jigs to install all the equipment and stuff? Don't you think that would be, I personally think that'd be kind of useful. How cool would it be to have like a specialized jig to be able to put like an axle in the car or something? Or, line up the frame rails or whatever. Joke's on you. My Jeep doesn't have rockers. Yeah. Send hazmat suits for you to fuel hypergalls. I wouldn't use hypergalls. And before you're building the EJ33. I know how to drill carbon fiber, Aqualux. Let's just say I had Dream Chaser engineers teach me how to do that. You think I'm kidding? Solutions to car problems. Don't have a car. But not having a car proposes its own problems. Dream Chaser engineers, not a great omen. Hey, if it's one thing that they can do, they can drill holes in carbon fiber. They're pretty good at that. How about laying up composites? Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm here for an EJ-BPS combo. I've worked with Joe. I worked with Joe 10 years ago. We did a collab on DASA's stream. Me, DASA, and Joe Barnard. We launched a rocket in West Roxbury. I'm not even kidding. It didn't go very far. It got too cold. Is that why Dream Chaser isn't flying? They were too busy talking and trying to teach you instead of doing their job? Shut up. Is there a VOD of that? That VOD's probably long gone, Rarists. Yeah, fun fact, Joe Barnard's from my neck of the woods, dude. I won't say where, but he's from my neck of the woods. The best VOD is that New Year's Eve VOD, that one. I deleted that. Remember that? It went very sideways. Yeah, it launched and it got hung up on an umbilical and went right back down. Yep. Yeah, dude. Anyway, that's kind of what I'd like to ultimately do, guys. I'd love to build jigs and tooling like this. But for the cars, right? Because it'd be cool to engineer it and then use what I learned there to, you know... What if I don't want to make it out of carbon fiber, Nader? That was not your favorite stream. It was good until it wasn't. Did I tell you recently got a 3D scanner? Hey, Geek, you want to come out here and scan the car? That would be super useful, actually. Just use aluminum tubes! I have to tell you what the frick you can do with an aluminum tube? Bearings, though, Nader. Geek, give me your 3D. Let me borrow your 3D scanner. Yo, let me borrow that. Oh, all systems. That is pretty cool. Nice. Anyway, all right. There's still more space news. So ULA had an Amazon Leo launch yesterday. It was early in the morning yesterday. Here. Oh, this one has audio. Sweet. All right, I can turn it back on. Ready? Headphone users. Headphone users. Headphone users. Oh, that's not too bad. Hello. Bro, vertical video? What are you doing? Well, all I'm saying, Geek, is that this would be really easy to... It'd be really easy to measure gaps if we scan the stupid car. Nice. Does ULA have any more footage? I thought they had more footage. Oh, one more. Make sure you turn up your volume. Ha! Okay, Tori, I can do that. Yeah, I will oblige. That is very nice. Can I? Oh, dude, look at right here. Oh man, that's pretty. Dude, look at that. That expansion is perfect. The under expansion is... Were those SRB covers? Solid rocket boosters, Blackness, usually have a plug in the throat to make sure that nothing gets up in there. I think... Here, let me slow it down, dude. Let me see if we can see it. Not fragment the sound. So the SRBs will take a split second to ignite, but in that time you should see the plugs shoot out. If they're... Yep, there they are. There's the plugs. Yep, that's totally normal. Good eye, dude. Yeah, that happens. Yep, it's called a nozzle plug, dude. Yeah. It's so nothing gets in there. You don't want anything near your solid rocket fuel. Except solid rocket fuel. Fun fact, Artemis, the Artemis, so SLS has those. The plugs in the nozzles. Yeah, it has those. Most SRBs carry them. And by most, I mean all of them. What are they made of? Foam. Which current rocket sounds the most like a Saturn V? I don't know, Lord Gugu. I have no idea. I've never seen a Saturn V launch. I don't know what it sounds like. I would imagine that Starship is probably somewhere close. Why does it look like the first two engines are higher up than the last? Those are liquid fuel engines, and these are solid fuel engines. Yeah, there you go, Altitude. Yep. Yep, so it takes a split second for the SRBs at point of ignition. So the SRB is already ignited here. It takes a split second to blow out the plug and get the right chamber pressure. It doesn't take very long, but yeah. That Blackness, great eye, dude. Ooh, that one fragmented a little weird, but the plug should come out ideally in chunks. You could see right there, see how it's circular? So that one, if the plug is, if it looks like a cork almost, right? It's kind of trapezoidal in shape. It's shattered, right? And it blew out in two clean chunks. See that? So this is the left side of the plug. That's the right side of the plug. And it just kind of shattered like if you broke a cookie in half almost. That one didn't do that. That one came out in... Actually, no. It came out in two pieces. You can't see it as much. Yep. There's your two chunks right there. And then, guys, something else comes out behind the chunks on both engines, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. I don't know what those two things are. Well, that's what they look like, Pythos. The chunks look like cookies. I mean, it's just a big forbidden solid rocket cookie. Here. Oh, nope. We do not want that music there, but here, look. Here's Artemis SRB. It was at this moment that mirror knew it screwed up. Yep. Bye-bye. Did they use the same mixture? Most SRBs are using hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene and ammonium perchlorate at this point in time. Most SRBs do that. Some of them have a little bit of a mixture. So this is a camera that's pointed at this mirror right here. In the mirror, it's pointed at that thing. See that? That's a mirror. And the camera is pointed at it so they can see so you can see, because let's be real, anything that's like right in this area here is not going to be alive very, very shortly. And yes, the ring does happen. It's a huge pressure shock when the SRB ignites. Is that the one with the nozzle that blew apart? Yeah. So you guys want to see something cool? The booster skirt. Watch. When the booster ignites, it'll create a vacuum and it'll actually pull the skirt. And the skirt will inflate. Yes, probably, RJ. Now, when they show another shot of it, oh, there's bits and pieces of the chunk. Yeah, ready? See, the ones on those GEM 60s, I think those are GEM 60s on Atlas nowadays. Graphite epoxy motor. The ones on the GEM 60s are designed to blow in two. Those ones are designed to not do that. But then again, this is a much bigger diameter. Plug pieces were found 2,000 feet away. Equal and opposite reactions. It was Bremo approved. What the hell did you send me? Oh. That's pretty sick, dude. That's pretty neat. Forgot how cool those tests are. But yeah, you could see that happening right here, albeit on a smaller scale. So it'll blow the plugs out. And then something, like I said, something comes after them. I don't know what those are. I have no idea. Is the mirror okay? No, the mirror is gone. You're never finding a piece of it ever again, Bellum. Vaporized, blown out to sea. That's cool, man. So that was from the the Amazon Leo 4 launch, LA4. Can we just, dude, I'm sorry, that name sucks. That name sucks. Can we keep calling it Project Kuiper? That mirror's seen some stuff. It definitely needs therapy. Yeah. That mirror had to reflect on life. Yeah, no matter how short it might have been. Woof. That's a nice. Okay, we have some news from Astra, believe it or not. Xenon thruster firing during pre-flight testing in our 3-chamber vacuum with sound on. In recent weeks, more Astra spacecraft engines have been placed in orbit and are now supporting maneuverability for customer satellites around the globe. Electric propulsion, baby. Yeah, that isn't some future tech, guys. That's electric propulsion. What they're doing is they're flooding a combustion chamber with a noble gas. It could be any one of the noble gases, and they're running an electrical current through that gas. When the current gets run through that gas, it ionizes the gas, and that ionization creates thrust. And yes, that is what it sounds like. Weird. Lava, you were looking at one last week in your university's vacuum chamber. Isn't that weird? Who's playing Half-Life? The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world. So wake up, Dr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes. Are you saying we're getting TIE fighters? Solar electric propulsion has been a thing on satellites for like a decade. Bellum, we've had TIE fighters. The problem is that we keep hooking them up to solar panels, and solar panels don't generate a lot of electricity. But electric propulsion is very scalable. Very scalable. Just make it bigger. Unlike rocket engines, where making it bigger doesn't always, you know, work. Right? Good, G-Man boys. Thank you very much, Dr. Freeman. So if you took one of these electric propulsion thrusters, scaled it up, and say attached it to a nuclear power plant or a nuclear reactor in space, Now we're talking. That's like some Star Wars stuff. And that is very doable. That's the kind of stuff that Jared Isaacman wants to do. What does Krypton and all this stuff come from? From machines. TIE Fighter impression? I can't do it, RJ. I'm not putting my voice through that. Like with Deckard and Steam Frame. And there you go with the Half-Life quotes. Yep. What's up, Doom? How you doing? Nuclear reactor in space like the sun? Mach, that's what it already uses. It uses solar electric propulsion. That the SEP. It's on all on. Let's see that in an instant replay. Solar electric propulsion has existed on satellites for like 10 years, dude. 10 to 15. Longer than that. So the problem is that these ion thrusters with solar electric propulsion really do not make a lot of power. An SEP thruster, dude, you could, if you do this, that makes more thrust than an SEP thruster. But the thing is that solar electric propulsion thrusters have like, they can have ridiculously high specific impulse. I was about to give you the specific impulse from the ion thruster in Kerbal. It's 4,200 seconds. Now, I don't think the real ones go that high. They might, but that is ridiculously efficient. That's like 4,200 seconds specific impulse is like saying a car gets 1,000 miles to the gallon, but it goes a half a mile an hour. Was that an Ace Ventura reference? What's the difference between this type of thruster and the one Starlinks use? Not much. Noctral asks, not much. Yeah, can I just see that again? It's very rare that we get to hear these things. Ugh. I agree, Pigzing. They were testing an ECR thruster, electron cyclotron resonance thruster, but the efficiency was pretty terrible. That is not the thruster itself, though. That is the vacuum system making that noise. I know, it's not as cool. Anyway, so yeah, Astra's pivoting not just from launch vehicles. It looks like they're building propulsion for satellites, too. Is it weird if I actually didn't know that? Is that bad? Did I just fart? Mike didn't pick it up. Thank God. If it's in a vacuum chamber, how can you hear it? It's a vacuum system. It's not in a vacuum chamber. It's air conditioned. Let's say that. All right, we got some updates from Firefly here. Our Blue Ghost Mission 2 milestones are stacking up, 22 feet to be exact. The team completed structure qualification testing at NASA JPL on our fully stacked Blue Ghost and Elytra Dark Orbiter model. After a series of vibration and acoustic tests, this milestone helps prove our spacecraft are equipped to withstand the intense environments they'll experience during launch and in transit of the moon. Congrats to the team and thanks, JPL, for the I know it's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. I'm just saying that to be funny. All right. It's funny to me, okay? For the hospitality and y'all's historic test facility. More on the mission here. Nah, I just want to click on the picture. Oh, hello. Blue Ghost Lunar Lander carrot, or bracket. Dual payload attachment fitting bracket with Lunar Pathfinder. Elytra Dark bracket, left bracket, left curly bracket, right curly bracket, left curly bracket, right curly bracket. Cool, man. Did you see the boom supersonic is expanding to electricity, apparently? Yeah, they're going to try to use their turbine technology to make power generation systems for data centers. You do with that information what you will. Elytra Dark is a lunar orbiter blackness, if I'm remembering correctly. Last thing, modern gridded ion thrusters can get up to 4,000 to 5,000 seconds, so KSP's value is not that crazy. Laviu, can you imagine? I mean, right now these thrusters use what, watts? Can you imagine if you had a kilowatt or a gigawatt thruster? Can you imagine if we had an ion thruster? Like, okay, think about this for a second. Can you imagine if we had an ion thruster that made 20 kilonewtons of thrust? I mean, that's ridiculous, but can you imagine if we did? Dude, that's Star Wars, baby. Star Wars. Or at the very least, The Expanse, you know? Like, so like the power and propulsion element. Yeah, kind of, yeah. 1.21 gigawatts! Great Scott! How could I have been so careless? 1.21 gigawatts? How am I going to generate that kind of power? It can't be done, Tom. Can it? How well do ion thrusters scale with power increase? Linearly, from what I understand, Ordon. I had a guy that works on electric propulsion come into the stream one time and tell me that. Trey says, I can give you a 980 seconds arc jet thruster running on NH4. Oy. The issue is that the power losses are very significant. About 20% of the ions are actually sent through the acceleration grids. The rest is just lost to the walls and such. Ugh. Now you guys, Lava Eagle, you got me thinking on how you'd make an electrical matricy to make sure that you get better ionization. Lava Eagle, what if you okay, forgive me. My ignorance here is not willful towards ion thrusters. You guys tell me. Yeah, sure, Maddie. I'll explain JPL in a second. What was I saying? So, Lava Eagle and anybody else, I guess, does an ion engine isn't using like a combustion chamber? Obviously, there's no combustion in a throat, in a nozzle and stuff, right? It's just like kind of barrel shaped, right? If I'm understanding this correctly, right? And your problem is getting your gas to go through the acceleration grid, like what you just said. Okay, if you can't make your acceleration grid bigger, why don't you make your jet smaller? So, meaning, instead of a barrel shape for your ion engine, you have it hourglass shaped. and you pump your inert gas, your noble gas, into your combustion chamber that's not a combustion chamber, it gets accelerated through the throat because of residual pressure, and then have your acceleration grid in the throat of this engine. Why don't we do that? I'm sure there's a good reason why we're not doing that. I'm just wondering what that reason is. Maddie, the reason why JPL is called JPL is because they started doing thruster research. It's Jet Propulsion Laboratory is not like a jet engine on a plane. A jet is what is the kind of term for what comes out of a rocket engine. Why did they pivot to exploration probes, though? So why did they do that? The Apollo program is the short answer, fellas. Yeah, the Apollo program is the short answer there. Joshua Ford, I don't see how anyone can enter the turbine electricity game at this point. Getting the last fractions of a percentage of efficiency will be hard against the giants that are spending way more to do the same. Yeah, I don't really understand what Boom's trying to do there, but they need to market their turbine technology, especially if they're in a lot of technical debt because they brought their propulsion manufacturing in-house. Yeah, interesting. You never realize because that's why jet engines are called jets. They're called jets because they shoot gas out at very high speed. That's what a jet is. Rockets have a jet as well, but they're not called jets. I get that, but I feel like a good portion of the science that they announced doesn't have a lot to do with thruster research. Yeah, because they really don't do that anymore. That's just the name and it's stuck. Could be more mass intensive. I love how EJ's the vending machine of quotes. You just have to give him a few coins first. It makes the stream fun and interactive. How much charge density? Yeah. YouTube says they're better. Yeah, man. In terms of movie quotes, guys, I got a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of stuff floating around up here. Movie quotes is one of them, so I figure I might as well do it, because if you're good at something, never do it for free, you know? Keep in mind that the ion density in gridded ion thrusters and Hall effect thrusters is about 10 to the 17th particles per cubic meter, compared to about 10 to the 25 for 1 atmosphere of air. There's virtually no pressure in the plume. So, Lava, my next question is, why not? Why not? Why not flow at a higher pressure? I mean, Aqualux was talking about, you know, charge density, you know. Is there not a way to accelerate the gas out with residual pressure? Why can't we flow at a higher rate? Is it because of, is there like a material science thing, or is it just because we can't generate more power in space? Because to my knowledge, it was just because we couldn't generate more power. EJ is like a bumblebee. He talks in recorded lines. Dan, stop lubricating the man. Because then you don't have a Hall effect thruster. You have a power-hungry cold gas thruster. So it needs to be at a certain speed to get the right type of ionization. Okay, I got it. Okay, another idea. Why don't we take one of these things and put a Tesla coil inside of it? Tesla coil. Arcing out in all different directions. So extremely high voltage, extremely low amperage, like a spark plug. You know what I'm talking about? Tesla coil can shoot out electrical arcs in all different directions, all at once, with the right charge. Why don't we do that? With Tesla coil? Yeah. Because Tesla makes cars, not coils. Oh, okay. You keep working your way towards the Vasimir. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I figured you might say that. Basically, generate a magnetic field and flow your gases through your magnetic field. Is that not something we can do? I'm sure there's a reason why. Like I said, because this didn't take me very long. There's no way that this is a lightning haha idea. There are many different types of electric motors. GIT use higher energy electrons to ionize the gas. Hall effect thrusters energize their electrons using magnetic fields. Okay. RF and ECR thrusters use radio and microwaves to energize the electrons, but they all have some sort of power limitations. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So power is the big limiter. Also, I really would like to see a Tesla coil, particularly a toroidal Tesla coil inside of an ion thruster. That would be super cool. You're literally describing Vasimir with the magnetic field. Okay, cool. Like I said, if I've thought of this, that means somebody else probably has too. But doesn't a Vasimir engine use the magnetic field for containment? Yeah, see? Magnetic coils generate a field that confines the ionized plasma. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't do this either. Yes, but the end is open and formed into a nozzle. Most of them do to shield the walls from high energy electrons, which is power loss to the walls. Yeah, you have to have an insulator. You have to get the electricity to go where you want it to go, which is why I said Tesla coil. What is the purpose of these in the deep space long game? Something like that means Star Wars in space, goalie. Like not the Expanse. That's Star Wars stuff right there. The Vasimir, if we can crack Vasimir, that is a Vasimir engine to spaceflight propulsion would be what the jet engine is to airline propulsion or aircraft propulsion. That's the difference. Way faster, way more efficient. With the Vasimir, you're not going to make a lot. With these engines, you're not going to make the highest amount of thrust, but you can make a good amount of thrust for an extremely long period of time. Like, when I say Star Wars, I don't mean like flying around in space like an airplane. That, I mean, you could, but how much delta V we talking? I mean, 95. We were talking about this a second ago. Certain electric propulsion systems make 5,000 second specific impulse. 5,000. So, how much delta V we talking? How much delta V do you need? Several kilometers a second for 10 to 20 kilograms of propellant, or maybe even better. Mother fricker, dude. That's why Rook wants to do this stuff. What do we need to do to crack it? Geek, are you going to get annoyed if Vasimir is one of those things that, like nuclear thermal rockets, like one of those things that's particularly low-hanging fruit that we absolutely could do but don't have the stones to actually go and do it? Would you be mad if I told you that? Yes, 95. That's the idea. Yes? Okay, cool. Because, you know, I mean, keep in mind this is on the wiki page, but yeah, I mean... So, I mean, Aqualix, this is what he just linked, but, you guys just read. In July 2021, Ad Astra announced the completion of a record-breaking test for the engine, running it for 28 hours at a power level of 82.5 kilowatts. A second test conducted from July 12th to the 16th ran the engine for 88 hours. What did I tell you? 88 hours! At a power level of 80 kilowatts. Ad Astra anticipates conducting a 100 kilowatt power level test in 2023. This article's a little old, but yeah. How much delta V was that? I don't know how the power level correlates to it, guys, to be 100% honest with you. Yeah, Trey, this is a way to do that. Vasimir, you can do that. If you couple this up to a nuclear power plant in space, bro, you never have to... You still have to generate power with this thing. You still need electrical power for this to run. But yeah. You need that can-do attitude. Remember, it's Canady can, not Canady can't. Can you pop popcorn in a Vasimir like you can with your microwave at home? Sure. It's Canada, not Canada. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. There you go, you guys. Okay, let's go for a test flight done before Jared's out of NASA. Floor it. The ISP is also variable depending on how much mass you put out. You run it almost like you do a car with a CVT. Oh. CVTs, damn it. Okay, guys, back to chemical stuff here real quick. So this is coming from PLD Space. Mira 5, Stage 1 rocket engine. The Teprel C is being tested at our rocket engine test facilities. Here, our propulsion team performs start-stop engine testing to evaluate the behavior of the complete engine assembly. Teprel C, el motor de la primera etapa de Miura 5, se está ensayando en nuestras instalaciones de testing de Turel. Aquí una prueba de encendido y apagado que nuestro equipo de propulsión realizó para evaluar el comportamiento del conjunto completo del motor. Sí. I was just reading the rest. Oh, I missed the asterisks. Dang, that was in Spanish. Sorry, guys. Holy, the engine would be less than a piece of junk than CVTs are. Cerveza, por favor. ¿Cuánto cerveza? ¿Cuánto cerveza tú necesitas? See? See? What's that, nuclear? Looks like flight sim to me. That is flight sim. Okay, that's weird. Who hit the SAP button? Sorry. I mean, it's not like we're shifting gears with other rocket engine types. Yeah. Joshua, that's pretty funny, man. Es muy cómico. Cyborg, I just got your message. That's pretty funny, too. Can't say that, though. Pretty good Spanish. Gracias, muchacho. Tengo hambre. Me gusta la comida de Italia. Necesito pizza, por favor. ¿Sí o no? Mars in 39 days. In order to conduct an imagined crew trip to Mars in 39 days, Vasavir would require a very high electrical power level. On top of that, any power generation technology would produce waste heat. Yeah, whatever. That's not as hard as I'm figuring out that that's not as hard of a problem to fix as you might think. Why is this greening out? You would need a 200 megawatt reactor with a power to mass density of 1,000 watts per kilogram. It would require extremely efficient radiators to avoid the need for football field-sized radiators. Oh, we could do that. The radiators isn't even the hard part to solve. Yeah, see. Pinaple? No. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? En su culo. Mira. I didn't swear. What are you talking about, man? I didn't swear at all. What's on your butt, boy? What's on your butt? I have a question. How do they install small reactors on satellites? They really don't. They did that during the Cold War with the snap reactors, Ramalot. But those were just test articles. Those didn't generate anything. I'm not speaking Italian, Flykin. That's Spanish. Did you see the Ariane 6 launch? Kind of wild that Ariane 6 completed its 5th flight while Vulcan still only has 3. Same with H3. They're about to fly their 6th. Phil, Alex told me the other day that in 2025, New Glenn launched more than Vulcan. I don't know. Yeah, okay. No, that's Italian, SpongeBob. What are they doing? And it's not like ULA isn't launching either. They launched an Atlas yesterday. But that's just the thing. They launched an Atlas yesterday. And they can't argue payload readiness because 2 of them moved to Falcon. AJ, do you think we're going to get an air show over the NASA Space Center for the new NASA administrator? The NASA air show over KSC on the 4th of July. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Guys, ULA is scaling. I mean, I've been saying it for a long time. You know, here, look. Look, I always say show me the hardware, right? And, you know, you could say, like, it is funny, haha, ULA hasn't been launching anything. Look. They're really waiting on the pads. They have to get the second VIF ready to go, and then they can scale. That does not mean that they have not been scaling. Look at this damn picture. Pretty maids. All in a row, baby. Oh, mama. Couple of Leo optimized centaurs there. A couple of big boy centaurs. There's a centaur 3 right there. Oh. I don't hate that. Like, once again, credit where credit is. Oh, my God. Credit where credit is due. They're doing work, dudes. It's just, I honestly think that they don't have their second VIF ready to go. Once VIF A is good to go, you should start seeing more Vulcans and more Atlas. You should start seeing more of everything. Vulcans will start launching, not as much as Falcon, but a good amount. The pad is the bottleneck. I don't necessarily think it's the pad, Spoiled. I honestly think it's the VIF. They can't integrate 2 rockets at once right now, and it's bottlenecking the crap out of them. These numbers should put things into perspective. Using electric orbit, raising from 300 kilometer circular to geocircular requires 4.65 kilometers a second compared to 3.87 kilometers a second for 2 Hohmann transfers, for a bielliptical transfer. Even still, for a 500 kilogram, using 5,000 second specific impulse electric thruster, you need 45 kilograms of propellant. Doing the Hohmann transfer method using an RL-10 with 462 seconds specific impulse requires 647 kilograms of propellant. Less mass means less price. Yeah, Lava, that makes perfect sense to me, dude. Is there a launch tonight? We do have a launch at midnight. There is a launch at midnight. There's another Electron going off. Man, Electron's emptying the freaking... They're emptying the freaking racks. Launch another one! No, launch another one! Launch another one! We have the Electron Don't Be Such a Square launch tonight. It's at midnight. Maybe this one actually goes off. Yeah. This is the STP... Okay, so it's STP-30, STP-S30 Disk Sat Space Test Program. So this one is going out of Wallops. Ooh, we got a launch from Wallops tonight. This will be the 20th Electron this year. Rocket Lab's 78th mission. Should I go outside? It's launching south out of Wallops. Reminds me of the Atlas ICBM factory, dude. Yeah. Getting some serious Convair vibes from this, Edmana. Absolutely. Look at all those centaurs lined up. That's what I mean about scaling, dude. Ooh. It's launching east-southeast. You'll be able to see it 5 to 15 plus degrees on the horizon. Dylan, I'm up in Massachusetts, man. I can't see it. I'm over the horizon. I only see trajectories out of Wallops when they fly northeast. New Zealanders firing rockets out of Virginia. Yep. So like I said, fellas, it's kind of funny that New Glenn has launched more than Vulcan this year, but ULA is working on the VIF. Once they get the VIF figured out, the floodgates are going to open. See? Tori Bruno's actually been posting a lot of pictures of the... Oh. Twins, Basil. Twins. Is that midnight Eastern? Yes, it is. Oh, mama. Dude, he has more pictures. I should probably have shown these for other space newses, but see, once they get VIF A ready to go. Oh, hello. They'll be able to build Vulcans in here, and then that is yeah, that's gonna work. That's gonna work real good. You can park 2 MLs inside and still have room for a couple basketball courts. Yeah, this is the old Titan solid rocket motor assembly facility. You could still see the cells for the SRM over here. If they want to launch more, they also need a second pad as well. ULA thinks they can do it with one. Spoiled, but I kind of agree with you. Yeah, we're 4 hours out. 4 hours, 7 minutes out from the Electron launch. That's probably how we'll end the stream tonight. We'll round off a nice 14-hour stream. I mean, guys, did you guys watch the... So, Tori Bruno did a podcast with Destin Sandlin from Smarter Every Day. Look what's behind them. I won't show you the whole podcast. It's pretty good. There's 2 centaurs just chilling. Oh, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Also, watch that episode of Burn Sequence. It's pretty good. Him talking with Destin from Smarter Every Day is pretty sick. So yeah, you know, New Glenn may have launched more than Vulcan this year. Vulcan starting in, I'd say probably Q2, so like March or April, guys, which is not that far away. ULA is going to start cranking out Vulcans like you would not believe, dude. It's going to be. There's going to be a lot. Oh, here it comes. Oh, it's going to be a rot. Okay, this last bit of space news that I got here is coming from ESAR. ESAR is a European commercial launch services provider with their Spectrum rocket. They did have a launch. The Spectrum 1 rocket it went up and then it came right back down, but let's take a look here. 30 seconds of pure power and precision. Stage 2 is ready for Spectrum's second flight after completing static hot fire testing. We further boosted Stage 2 performance by streamlining its design and reducing complexity. Enjoy watch while we're getting ready. How did you boost Stage 2 performance? You don't even know what Stage 2 performance... You know what? Never mind. Let's say it's off of analytical data. All right. Cool. Headphone users, this might get loud. You've been warned. Oh, Phil, Maven's orbital period has decayed from 3.5 hours to 1.5 hours. That's not good. A 2-hour orbital period change. Maven was in a very eccentric orbit. Oh, she's aero braking. Yeah, that's coming down. Stuck thruster, you think? Or it got hit by something. But yeah, stuck thruster. Something broke on the spacecraft. Or it got hit by something and depressurized one of its tanks. That's nightmare scenario. We're going out of comms for a bit soon, too. The sun will occlude the signal. How old is Maven? Maven is older. I have to see. When in the heck did that thing go? Maven launched in 2013. Yeah, it was on an Atlas 5401. We watched that launch. I'm pretty sure. Its mission duration was 2 years planned. It was planned to operate for 2 years. It's been operating for 12 years and 29 days. The scientific mission began 11 years and 86 days ago at the end of its transfer window to Mars. Okay, we're playing with house money there. I'm not too worried about it. We should, launch another one. Just saying. All right, what do you got here? Check this link for a Google Earth view of the electron trajectory from Massachusetts. Oh. Oh, we might be able... Dude, I might be able to see that. Huh. They said they had 15 years worth of fuel, so we did get shorted by 5 years of max possible. Yeah. Can we please get a Mars Global Surveyor? That mission was awesome. I mean, yeah. NASA was banking on using it for Mars data relay continuity, since Odyssey and MRO are really old. If Maven is lost, we will only have the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. Not good. There was ever a use for sending a comms relay around Mars, Phil. Falcon Heavy would be a pretty good rocket for that. Or New Glenn. Or Vulcan VC6. It's not like we don't have the launch vehicles to get this done, so start building a freaking communications array. Excuse me. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, let's check out this ESAR footage. Oh, there's music. Can't listen to it. Sorry, dudes. Hello. Yeah, well, Pythos Isaacman, Jared Isaacman, I think will fix this. I think he'll be just fine. They are. Who said it? Aqualec said, there's a Blue Origin contract. They're working on Mars communications. And lunar communications, for what it's worth. Intuitive Machines is working on the communication network for the moon. Good stuff. Is this in Alaska? No, it's in Endoya, Norway. So, same biome, let's say. All right, guys. Well, that was all the space news I got for you. Yeah, a couple of my counterparts at NSF went out there in February for their Spectrum 1 launch. Spectrum 1 launch didn't go very well, though. Yeah, the Mars Telecom Orbiter proposal. Yeah. I remember them talking about this, Aqualux, yeah. That was painful to watch. It was their first flight. Give them a break. Look, guys, you know how I am with this. It's like, if you're gonna do it, do it. I kind of agree with Peter Beck. You know, Peter Beck said Neutron's first flight isn't gonna be some bullcrap test flight. We're gonna put payload into space on the first damn try because it's a rocket, because that's what we meant to do. You know, I'm usually pretty laissez-faire on it, but I do agree with Peter Beck. But I mean, I'm not laissez-faire about it. I agree with Peter Beck. If you say your rocket's going to do something and then it doesn't do what you want to do, you didn't engineer it good enough. With that being said, ESAR is a new company. They're a very new company. It was their first launch with a brand new rocket from a brand new space center with brand new GSE, brand new everything. All right. If the second one does that, then we got a little bit of a problem. Okay, let's wait for the next flight. But for what it's worth, I do agree with Peter Beck. I think he's 100% right. If you are building a new rocket and your first mission is attempting to get it into space, and you don't get it into space, you failed. Pretty straightforward stuff. There's a new Starship video. Oh, yeah? One more? A Starship video, small KSA update. Ooh, KSA update. Where's that new Starship video, Ramalot? Falcon 1 failed 3 times with customer payloads. Yeah, I know. And it almost killed the entire company, one man. Just excuse me for a second. I did. Blackness. Yeah, we good. We're good on that front. Wow. Bro. Dude. Let me see your hands. No. No, it's fine. I'm just flicking my switch. It goes. Weird. Yeah, the way the glow faded at the end was pretty good. Pretty good, man. Nice beaver. Thanks, I just had it stuffed. Remalot, where is that footage, that new Starship video? What are you talking about? Is that like a Starbase flyover or what? Yeah, no, I was just messing with my flight stick. I love this thing, dude. Wheatley gave this to me. This joystick is amazing. Like, I'm never using another joystick for a flight simulator ever again. Now, with Kerbal, we got the Logitech because it's cool, but... This. Whose video is that? It's not an official video, right? This is a new view of the Starship Flight 11 landing. Where did that come from? Do you have the throttle module? Of course I do. I was using them to fly. I was using it to fly a Huey around yesterday in Flight Sim, which was quite fun, actually. VR did get me sick, though. Yeah. Yeah, the VR was not good. So where did these new views of Flight 12 come from? Or Flight 11? Who posted this? Xenoth Space? Oh, baby. I was going to say, I don't think these are new views. It's still nice, but... I don't think these are actually new, Ramalot. It's probably a video that somebody just posted. Because that looks a lot like, that looks a lot like this. It looks like whoever posted that video took this, cropped it, and then put it, and then like used AI to upscale it or something. Oh, okay, Clayton, yeah. I mean, you know, it doesn't just... Hard to read videos sometimes. All good, man. It's all right, Remelot. You gave us an excuse to watch that, so that's fine. That's okay. It's all right, man. Oh, man, that thing is cool. I resent them cutting right before the explosion. Yep. How tall is that thing again? 220 feet. It's about as big as a Falcon. No, 150 feet. It's about as big. 15 stories. About as big as a Falcon 9 first stage, but like 3 times as wide. Bring on Flight 12. Yep. You could hear it depressurizing like it was in the sticks. Yeah, yeah. Have you guys not seen that footage before? It's pretty good, man. Pretty good. All right, dudes. It was okay before you got into helo. If we're flying like a not fighter jet, yeah, it'll probably be fine, dude. Did you catch just someone posted it and it came up again because I was closing out tabs that I forgot who. Metropolis 1998. A fresh modern city builder with charming aesthetics, detailed agent-based simulation and scheduling. That looks like SimCity. It looks like SC4. What is this? You know what? It doesn't look like SC4. Those look like Minecraft cities. Neat. Cool. All right, guys. That's going to do it for Space News. We're going to move into after hours now. You found something dangerous for any flight sim enthusiast. Bug Eye Technology. Oh, you pissant. Why would you link this? Oh. 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 Okay. All right. We got to stop. Yeah. The Pythos, get a quote, which means it's custom one off, which means that thing costs like 50 grand. I'm not building a flight sim cockpit unless we expand the garage. I'm dead serious about that because I've thought about it and I really want to, but I'm not going to. Scroll down. Nope. Nope. I'm good. Nope. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna jog the VOD. Sim racing room, flight sim room, machinist room. If I hit the Powerball, we'll do that, okay? Workers for after hours? I was going to play Battlefield. That's what I had teed up for after hours, Warhammer. I'm striking out on games you want to play, dude. I'm sorry. We're going to play Kerbal tomorrow and Friday. And nothing else. Look up Everwind. It's like Minecraft. Maybe by the same people. I highly doubt that. See you in a bit. All right, guys. When GTA 5? Wait, you want to play GTA? Maybe on Friday. I'll think about it. Regular GTA 16 race playlist. Do we have the playlist still? Do we have it predominant? If we have it, we'll play on Friday after Flame Trench. I'm not kidding. Have you played The Last Caretaker? I have not, Crustacean. Joe BF6, not your thing. I'll catch you tomorrow. Got it. We still have the stream race playlists. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, guys. That's going to do it for Space News. Yeah, that's GTA Online. Yeah. Yeah. Wonder how many decertified cockpit components are available out there. I'm sure you could find it, Aqualex. I'm sure you could. All right. Stand by for a lost signal. That's going to do it for Space News. I will be right back. I'm going to jog the VOD over on YouTube, start and stop a new VOD, and we will start the late night Flick Fest. No rage, right? No rage. I'll be back in a second.